Alright folks, what is up? This is One Big Bugga and I am coming at you with Euro Truck Simulator 2. And we are continuing on with, well, Euro Truck. I don't know exactly what to call this series or if I should even call it anything. Just playing at this point because, like I said, I enjoy the game and I know that you guys enjoy the game and I would like to play other games, but the reality is I would have to upload them with this, I think, in order to feel right. And I'm not going to do that quite yet, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. So we did get our first level up. And we can drive a little bit. No, we can't drive. I forget. That's the wrong one. Skills. Oh yeah, it's our second level up actually. We can drive a little bit further and now we can drive high value cargo. So yeah, that's it. I actually have new updates, new mods for this. I just never got around to installing them yet. I'll probably do that tomorrow. But for now, we can stay on the old ones. So let's see. Tanker, expanded clay, aggregate, beer in kegs, orange juice, PC hardware. Gosh. Not a whole lot for me to choose from, is there? Nope. Nope, not at all. Well, I haven't been there or there. Probably everywhere I haven't been. Yeah, let's just take this one. 18 tons of expanded clay. Way else that way. Actually, I shouldn't have my room light on right now, but whatever. I'll deal with it. Boy, I'm not even talking right now, am I? I'm actually talking in my head. I guess it's been that long since I've done this. I mean, I know I've got a couple videos right now, but I don't have, I haven't done this in a while other than those vids. In those vids, I had something serious to talk about. And this one, I don't know, man. You know, it's like, what do you talk about at this point? You know, the only thing of significance that maybe everyone knows about is that poor woman. And I apologize for not knowing her name. It's not because I, you know, don't take the matter seriously or care. Oops, wrong way, actually. It's because I'm very terrible at remembering names. Any name. You know, one guy came up to me at my little favorite restaurant known as Serpico's and asked me, oh, you know, Justin. It's like, oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah, you know, I met you and da-da-da-da. And he said, oh yeah. And I said, you know Joy passed away, right? And he goes, well, yeah, I was at the funeral. You see, that's how terrible I was. I mean, you could say I have excuses, but I knew the guy looked familiar. And I had a feeling that that's where I saw him, but I just couldn't remember. So I mean no disrespect by not remembering the poor woman's name, but she was that one that was arrested in, I believe it was Colorado, and ended up dead in her jail cell. Oh really? You're just gonna start raining on me, huh? That stopped a little shorter than I thought it would. So, anyways, apparently the hacker group Anonymous, or somebody claiming to be from the hacker group Anonymous, hacked into a bunch of files from the police department and showed various things in comparisons to a lot of the police filings and reports. And one big thing they tackled was the fact that the mugshot was all wrong. They say that judging by everything that they can tell evidence-wise, the woman's mugshot was taken while she was laying on the ground, and that she was actually probably already dead. And they point out things like her hair is like... Wow, you're going slow, dude. Her hair is pointing backwards and not hanging straight down. Really shouldn't do this now, but haven't seen traffic in a while. And that her hair was hanging backwards and straight down. The fat in her face and cheeks and whatnot was pushing back towards her ears. Her shoulders were not set properly. They were not of somebody standing. They were of somebody who was laying down. And the fact that she was in an orange jumpsuit when nobody in any of their other mugshots were in an orange jumpsuit. Nobody in any of the other mugshots were standing at a wall the same color as hers. The floor in her cell is the same color as her mugshot. And there are a few other inconsistencies they pointed out, not just with the photo, but also of the filed paperwork. And supposedly included is the undoctored photo of her in the mugshot that shows her eyes are basically rolled up in her head, you know. So it really kind of seems like that these guys have been pretty well busted, but the reality is are they? Anonymous has done some really good stuff. They broke open some years ago that case where a bunch of guys on a football team, a local small town football team, raped one or two girls or something like that, and there was a big cover up about it. But these guys went, Anonymous went and hacked all the Twitter accounts of people involved. I don't know why I'm so like squirrely right now. Again, just not playing enough. I think I'm rusty. Not that I was the best driver to begin with, but anyways, they went and hacked all the Twitter accounts, and they posted it for everyone to see, and all kinds of stuff. And eventually stuff did, things did happen, but sadly it wasn't what should have. It was minor justice compared, because supposedly like a lot of guys were involved, and you know, people were bragging about it and all this stuff. But in reality, I think in the end, only 2 guys actually really got in trouble and suffered punishment. Do I have my lights on? No. I don't. I should. I was thinking it was a little too dark. But, yeah, you know, that happened. But the problem behind Anonymous is that anyone can make an anonymous video. You know, basically the whole point behind Anonymous is there's no specific person, there's no specific group. I go to scratch my leg and I bump my controller a little bit and my truck goes like zooming off to the side. Holy shit. I think I need to tone the steering down, man. Because it's like gentle taps are working fine, and then you get to a certain point, and it's really not that far, and you know, suddenly you're turning like real fucking hard. I have not seen any traffic coming the other way this entire trip, so I believe I'm safe to go by this guy. I'm pretty sure I'm pushing a car at this point. I just didn't see this. And anyone who subscribes to me recently for this is very common of me to completely miss a turn. I did it in my last video, yeah, I forgot to turn off the highway. Ended up going on a little adventure. I've got to adjust. Hello, steering. I don't know what's going on with the steering. It just feels weird. Probably not the best time to downshift. Or upshift, rather. And in the video, at one point, the person sending the message from the Anonymous that had all this information called for a day of rage. Really? This is usually not something Anonymous does. Anonymous usually calls for justice. They don't try and call for civil anarchy. So there are some doubts behind the video and its legitimacy. But you can't doubt the you can't doubt the facts that are there, even if you disclude or discount rather, even if you discount the supposed undoctored photo that shows that she's clearly dead. There's still a lot of facts that don't add up. This steering is going to drive me nuts. Is it under gameplay? It's under gameplay, right? Steering camera rotation factor. Trailer stability. Brake intensity. Controls. Okay. Steering sensitivity. Can we bring that down just a bit, please? Thank you. I need to be a little less sensitive. Even less sensitive, I'm still oversteering. So yeah, just in the long run, dude, you gotta wonder if these things are, you know, legitimate. Because, as I've said, they bring up really good points, you know, about everything. Like, in all the mug shots, not only are, like, all the people that they process not in orange jumpsuits, but they're not standing against a wall. They're standing away from the wall. They're not standing, you know, flat back against a wall. Where this woman is clearly against whatever surface she's on, flatly. And about her hair pointing back and not down, and about the fat in her cheeks, the reality is that she is clearly laying down. There's no doubting that. And the fact that the mugshots they took of her, yeah, the actual mugshots they took of her on the police report are extremely dark. They're very, very, very dark. No other mugshots like that, not even of other black people. They're really dark. Now, the biggest question I have is, you know, everyone says she died in prison. Now, the biggest question I had, as I said, as I've been wondering, is, was she in prison, or was she in jail? Because you see, the two are actually very different. Some people may not think so, but they are. You see, prison is a large facility that holds many prisoners that are either been sentenced and serving time, or they're awaiting their trial. Like, if you get busted on a Friday evening, chances are they'll transfer you to the prison while you you know, await your trial, because they can't keep you at the jail. Jail are the cells they put you in when you get arrested. They bring you to the police station, they process everything, and then, you know, they put you in a cell. That's a jail cell, not a prison cell. There's a difference. Now, if you also go with the inconsistencies these guys have, they first said she hung herself. Impossible. If it's a jail cell, impossible. There's no way, there's nothing you can do it with, no how. And I'm pretty sure they figured this out. So then what they said was, what she actually did was asphyxiate herself using a large trash bag I love this one. Large trash bag that she found in a trash basket in her room. Well, you see, this is where it comes in where I ask, was she in prison or was she in jail? In a prison, something like that is possible. In jail, it's not. And this comes from somebody who has been in a jail cell a couple times. In a jail cell, you're lucky to have, you probably won't even have toilet paper. Because of the caliber of people they can bring in, jail cells have to be as clean, safe, and sterile as possible. There will be no wastebasket, there will be no bench, there will be nothing in there but a bed with a mat that you can, you'll carry your own mat in, and they'll give you a rough blanket to cover up with. And then there's a stainless steel, or however, and it has to be stainless steel, so it's easy to clean toilet, not porcelain, because porcelain can be broken and can have sharp edges on it. If you gotta take a shit, you have to ask for toilet paper. Now, this may not be the same in all places, but again, you gotta consider, they bring in a lot of drunks, they bring in a lot of violent people, they bring in a lot of different people. You can't afford to leave anything in there that they can use as a weapon, including a trash can. Let alone a plastic bag in the trash can. If she was in jail, and they said that she did this, there ain't no way in hell. And then she said she also somehow ingested or smoked a large amount of marijuana while in her cell. Really? How did she get it? If she was in jail, how did she get it? Even if she was in prison, how did she get it? Getting a large amount of marijuana is not easy, even in prison. Getting smaller amounts, not a big deal, but a large amount, especially for somebody who's just been in there a few days, no. And you can't tell me the cops wouldn't smell it if she were smoking it. Even if she wasn't, it's still pretty strong. You can't tell me they didn't know. And they said that she was suicidal. Well, then why wasn't she on suicide watch? That's the first thing you do if somebody's suicidal. You put them on suicide watch. I'm sorry. Anonymous or not, I really believe that this woman was killed in prison. And it's being covered up. A lot of cops these days, not all of them, but a lot of cops these days, get bad reputations because of the things that you see, people with the cameras of cops that are overly aggressive and violent. So it gives a lot of cops a bad rep. But then what do you do when you actually have a cop like that? And it doesn't help that things are covered up. There have been several times when things were covered up and it came to light later that it wasn't. That included here in the islands. One time there was a guy who ended up running a light while drunk and hitting this girl, and I don't know if she died or actually I don't know if it was here in the islands. It might have been, but don't know if she died. I think she had died due to the accident. And when the cops got there and found out, they treated him very differently. They didn't arrest him right away, put him back in the car. He was allowed to make a cell phone call. He was allowed to get his attorney. He was allowed to do all this stuff freely right there on the site. And they actually tried to cover up for him. But there were too many inconsistencies and too many things that were out for the public to know. And it eventually found out what had happened. And the police ended up suffering for it. Anyone who tells you that the police departments don't cover up for each other, even if they have a bad egg in their midst, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I knew a state trooper, an actual, state trooper, and I used to talk with him a lot, and he used to tell me about the things that would go on. He used to tell me about the things, state troopers would do that, never should have been done, and then how it was always covered up. A cop ends up killing someone, and they go on paid leave while there's an internal investigation done. Even if there's overwhelming evidence that he is guilty. I don't know. I don't think all cops are bad. Matter of fact, I think most cops are good. I think the cops get a really bad reputation because of what we see. We see the worst of it. We're not going to see the postings of a cop that does a good thing. We're not going to see postings of a cop who goes out there and who does something nicely for someone. No, we only see the ones where they're overly violent and overly aggressive, because that's what we should see it for number one, and for two, that's what people want to show. It's like, look what this cop did to this guy. And I think that gives a bad reputation to all cops in general. But I really don't think most cops are like that. I think it's a small amount of cops, but I do think they exist. I do think they're covered up for, and I do think that something needs to be done about it. But that's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. You can go out there and look up the anonymous thing for yourself and form your own opinion if you want. Otherwise, that's going to be it from this episode, folks. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Until next time, this is going to be One Big Bugga. I'm going to be signing out. I'll see you next time.